Welcome to BlizzCon 2017 coverage, brought to you by BlizzPro.com.
Hi, this is Neinball here with BlizzPro, going through and continuing our BlizzCon 2017 coverage with our thoughts and wrap-up of today's Diablo events. So let's just go into it. I know there's no big Diablo announcement that's coming out at this year, but we did have a BlizzCon exclusive demo that actually showed off some really interesting things we weren't expecting. We can go through and just share our thoughts and what we thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good. Yes, this is Leviathan here, and mainly been playing a lot of Demon Hunter lately. Looking forward to Crusader in Season 12. To keep it relevant to BlizzCon, the demo was particularly interesting. They showed off some tech where we actually got the Neinball, as we're calling it. There's a boss rush, so essentially you're going through what's a handcrafted Greater Rift, and from time to time, Diablo pops up, and then he just summons something else for you to fight. And so you're fighting, you know, King Leoric, or two Urzels, or just a whole slew of things that you've never seen in the game before. So it's a pretty cool treat for us as longtime players, kind of like a love letter to all of us to say, hey, we know you guys love the game, you support it, nothing great and new for you here tonight or this weekend, but here's something a little different.
Yeah, this is Dreadscythe here. Yeah, it was a great demo. It was very different than what we're used to. It was actually a little bit refreshing. Gonna have to play it a couple more times before the convention's over. Like some examples of even like environmental things, like some doors that were different. Doors are our greatest enemies in this game, along with probably like one of the most unique campaign element in Act 5, Reaper of Souls, when you're storming the Pandemonium Fortress, and you're on the ram trying to bust your way through. All those chains that shoot through. You fight the Butcher, or no, Ember. I'm sorry. And you see those chains come out, like, oh, okay, there's nothing. No, it actually cordons off parts of like the Butcher arena you're on. You have to like destroy them, so you save yourself from the fire, the chains. It's just like utter madness. I mean, to me, this whole thing felt like you were running a gauntlet. It was actually really refreshing, really awesome.
Yeah, this takes some elements I've been talking about on the West Marsh workshop, where, like, how could they level up a Greater Rift? They could go through and take certain elements within the Greater Rift and section it off. And within this one, like, when you got to the end of a level, you had to beat a boss. It was like a sub-boss before you could actually continue on to the next part. And in some of the levels, you actually couldn't even finish it until you beat a boss to open up the next half of the level. And so you had all these other like different interesting little mechanics. And then of course at the end was just like, it was a boss free-for-all. It definitely was a great throwback. You got to fight the First. It was the classic Diablo skin from the Diablo anniversary event that comes around every January. The little pet that you can get from there, they blew up into a full-size model, and you got to fight like the original Diablo. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, you know, there was the D3 Diablo was porting in and out and shooting fireballs at you. You had all the other bosses from the game that were just going through, appearing and like attacking you at the same time. It was a lot of fun and just interesting to see this kind of like new take on a Greater Rift. And when we were talking with some of the developers afterwards, this was all new tech that they made for the demo itself. This isn't anything that they had just lying around. They had to implement this specifically for the demo. And of course, that kind of like begs the question, is this what's coming next? Even though they had no announcement, is this something that they could implement in another mode type? I don't think that this would take the place of regular Greater Rifts because it's handcrafted, so it's staged and requires a lot of work. But it could be something of just like another level that they could do. Something alongside challenge rifts. So, you know, maybe once a month or something, they have like this kind of like more streamlined competitive style rift that you could go log into and check your times against others. Open it up. Like this one was just single player, but think about it if you had like 4-player rifts that you could compete with other people.
Right, yeah. I mean, you could really open up the opportunities for this. I think that there's a lot of potential there, right? And it's an exciting thing. Hopefully, maybe, if they get a great amount of feedback from everybody. There's a lot of people who've been in the lines all day long that we've seen. Seems like there's a lot of excitement for it. So hopefully, if everyone kind of globs on and says, yeah, we really like it, they'll bring it forward. I guess also to just think about some of the other BlizzCon things that we saw as well. The visual effects panel was today for the Necromancer, a class near and dear to your heart, of course. You've been playing it a little bit too as well, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
And I think it was pretty sick just to get an idea of how some of the skills and some of the maybe hardships that we didn't necessarily think about as players presented themselves to the developers. And so it was Julian Love, and then actually a new face that we hadn't seen. You remember her name? Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, I failed.
Jane. I don't remember the last name.
Yeah, so Jane.
We'll make it up to her.
Yeah, absolutely. But
we'll double it next time.
There you go. But it was cool. It was both of them and then Brandy moderating. And we really got to see, more than anything, a bunch of community questions come up. A lot of curiosity just about how the Necromancer skills came together and such. So was there anything particular there that interested you?
Yeah, I mean, it was great to see how each one of the 2 developers that were on there, when they were being asked, like, what skill was their favorite to work on, or what skills were really trying. I mean, Revive, right? The one that like had to redo all the monster skins. All the runes.
Yeah, though I don't think they talked about that one in the panel.
Well, I'm just saying in general, like you think that would be like the hardest one, but Bone Spear came up because it originally, they told us as a concept sketch, it looked awesome, but they described it like a 10-foot like spine shooting out. And while how a lot of things conceptually sound like, oh, this is gonna be like the bee's knees kind of deal. When they got it into practice, even with it didn't feel right. So they had to go back and the I word, iterate, and they got to a point where, yeah, this is it. We nailed it. This is what we have to go with. We'll do our runes based off of this as it is. So there's this constant, I mean, we hear it every BlizzCon, every PAX East that they have something, just constant iteration going back and tuning. And I mean, we all recognize that with the Necromancer, it was so much tighter than the Crusader before, and as well as the 5 classes in vanilla. So I think they've really nailed down. I mean, if we get another class, you know, what's in the stars for us in the future. But they've really nailed down how to make a class, skills, runes, and how to really take advantage of that.
Yeah, and just some of the things that we kind of learned after the panel, they actually were out in the hallway answering even more questions. And so this is some of the stuff that you might not have seen on the live stream. We had some other questions that they were talking about. One of the skills they had the most difficulty with tuning was Blood Nova, because it's such it has so many pixels in the effect and covers such a large area that it has a lot of problems with overdraw, because it's drawing the pixels for the skill as well as everything happening behind it, and then that caused a huge amount of performance issues for console. And so there's a lot of iterations that went into that again and again and again before they were able to make it work. And then one of the other things that we found out is just you know, they use a lot of proprietary technology, not just for the graphic design, but for, you know, the development, coding, and such, and that they actually have the access to the visual effects artists themselves can go through, implement just a type of effect change, load it into the game, and then go and tweak it. So as they're playing, they can see does this work well? You know, does this improve performance? How does this look? And so they're playing the game while changing the skill and the visual effects themselves in real time while they're going through and working on it. And it's just the tools that they have available to them are really awesome.
I believe you call that rapid iteration. That's incredible. So yeah, you could actually have an idea as a visual effects designer where this thing's just a little too noisy. I'm especially fighting this Greater Rift Guardian, and oh wait, my skill's the exact same color as its hardest attack. We can't differentiate. The players are certainly not going to be able to differentiate. So it's kind of cool to just see how in tune with everything that they are. And I guess the things we don't know, we would never really get an idea of that they have access to unless you get those moments alone with them, which is why BlizzCon in general is so awesome, because you get that one-on-one time to ask questions like that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, another example was curses. I mean, how are they going to visually show curses? They said that they kind of really bumped up the area of effect visual on the ground, as well as the icons that were being shown above the mobs and everything like that. So yeah, just another example, throwing it out there.
Absolutely. And I guess we should also talk about tomorrow. We've got the community panel, which I'm personally looking forward to for selfish reasons. But I think it's going to be a really great one. It's myself, Riker, Big Daddy Den, and Linksaria. Again, moderated by the wonderful Brandy. And it's going to be just 30 minutes of us going up there and kind of spewing why we love the community so much, why we do things like this right now, right? It's an extension of being a player hanging out in your room and saying, I wish I could talk to more people about why the Crusader is so awesome, right? And so being able to kind of share that love with everyone, being able to now do that in front of a lot of people upstairs tomorrow, which is kind of freaking me out. Yeah, and tons more over the internet. I think it's just going to be great. Are you guys looking forward to it, I hope?
Oh, yeah. We're going to heckle the shit out of him.
Troll hard. Troll hard.
And with that, I believe that kind of like wraps up our Diablo coverage for BlizzCon 2017, day one.
Yes.
We'll go through and see what else the rest of the convention has to offer for everybody. So thank you very much, and stay tuned for BlizzPro's continued coverage of BlizzCon 2017.
For more BlizzCon 2017 coverage, check us out at blizzpro.com. Subscribe to us here on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and Facebook at BlizzPro.